Good evening, morning, afternoon, freaks and geeks. This is Railuge, and welcome to the top 11 best games of 2018. Now, I really love video games, and I do plan on doing top 10 lists for each year, going backwards. And I plan on stopping on the year I was born. I don't know how well that's going to work out, but we'll see what happens. But for now, these are the games that were released this year. Now, as a disclaimer, I have not been able to play all of them. But without a huge chunk of money just throw on games to be like, hey, this seems like a good game to play, I'm going to go play it. I have to rely on what I know and what I've seen. So yes, I'm going to be including some clips from more popular and better looking and better YouTubers than I. So without further ado, here is the best 11. And yes, I'm doing 11 this year because there's just so much happening this year. So, number 11, Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, I like doing the games that are like if they were in alpha or beta. I don't consider them fully released because they're still working on it. They're still working on the bugs. Yes, you can play them right away, but I cannot give a full review on certain video games if the whole thing is not released yet. I don't know how to do chapter games though, because they release part 1 and then they work on the second chapter and then the third and so forth. However, I figured I'd do Bendy this year because when they completed all 5 chapters, the full game was released on the other systems like the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One. So I figured since the full game was released on the other systems at the same time that Chapter 5 was finished, I'm considering a full game released this year. So, I have not played Chapter 5 yet. However, I've done the first 4 chapters. And the game started off, it was like, it was missing something. Like, first chapter, that was the pre-chapter, so of course there isn't going to be much. It gave you a little taste of the story and being like, okay, here's a jump scare with Bendy. Have fun running. But with chapter 2, I like the puzzle mechanics in that.
The violin shudders with a piercing voice. The drum thunders in triumph. The drum echoes out once more. Sing my song, and my sanctuary.
Piano, violin, drum. Me need smarts. Oh, that was smooth. Oh. Oh my God. Yes, I did it!
The fighting seemed to be placed. Like, oh, you have an axe. We gave you an axe early on, so might as well, like, give you these little creatures just to smack when they pop up. There's apparently a health system, but they use the same, like, bleeding eyeballs mechanic to tell you that you're hurt. I don't like that. It's when you get in a game and there's no health bar and there's no fighting, and you're all like, oh, okay, so it's going to be a puzzle jump scare game. Gotcha. And then they throw like your creature at you and it hits you, and all of a sudden you got like a little black ink on your eyes. But the puzzles were interesting. They were, I don't want to say innovative, but they kind of were. And Chapter 3 was kind of slow. I hated how many tasks that Angel gives you. Also, they give you a fork in the road. Means nothing. I was hoping like one path would focus on Angel and the other path would focus on Bendy. I was confused how they would fit that into the next chapter, or fit that into the next chapter, it's like the paths did nothing. Still led you to the same area. So it's like I did not enjoy Chapter 3 that much. It was padded out, and I think they did that because people were complaining Chapter 2 was short. Chapter 4, though, blew me away. I'm kind of glad I did Chapter 4 in 2 separate videos, because the first episode was, like, leading into the actual, like, what was going on in Chapter 4. Second episode was the actual action and everything, and it was just amazing. I loved it. They gave you, like, 2 boss battles in a game that didn't have boss battles before, and it was great. I enjoyed myself a lot in that. So, Chapter 4 alone is why this made it up on the list. Chapter 3 is why it's so far down the list. Once I'm able to purchase Chapter 5, I will do my Let's Review while I'm doing that to clench the final verdict on the game. But for now, let's move to number 10. Number 10. Shin Megami Tensei DX2. This is actually this shoulder. Another fluff ghost came up, and I just noticed a stain. I'm sitting here with this big stain on my shirt. Oh, I am so sorry, guys. I recorded a whole thing with this too. You know what? I'm just gonna roll with it now. It's part of the charm, I guess. Still barely there. Haha. It's no secret I'm not that good of a YouTuber. So maybe that was Ghost telling me, hey, you gotta stay in here, take care of it. No, that was a fluff. Anyway, with Shin Megami Tensei DX2, it's a franchise that's not well known, but I love the crap out of it. In my opinion, it's like the series is a little better than Pokemon, mainly because you can fight with your demons that you summon. Sadly, in this game, you don't. But I was afraid it was going to run in like the usual like mobile game where you have certain energy. You have to pay out your nose to get like good demons, to get like more energy to unlock things, and be like a simple like, oh, you throw your demons in and they'll like fight for you. All you have to do is just click fight and then sit there and wait for 5 minutes and let the battle conclude. I mean, apparently you can do that, but I'd rather not. But they still have the basic idea and the basic story from the Shin Megami storylines. So far, these bad guys have not been able to like fight back. Oh, there's a pixie. Basically, where there's demons among humans. You get this device that you can summon them and control and like fight with them. But unlike Pokemon, you don't catch them. You don't like beat the crap out of them and then throw a Pokeball at them and force them to have Stockholm Syndrome. What you actually do is you have to convince them to join your team. And if you say something they don't like, they'll kill you. And also, most of the time, you have to give them something like money. Sometimes it's like an item like, hey, I like your sword there. Give it to me and I'll join you. And it's just, the gameplay is so good. And I'm actually proud that they did not go the usual route. I mean, there's still monetization. They have something that some Summoner Wars have, where it's like you buy like a summon ticket and it summons a random demon. It's almost loot box, but it's done well because these tickets are given to you as a prize. But the huge difference is you can still try to talk to the demons to join your team. And you still can fuse your demons together to get a new one. And the talk and the fusion does not cost you real money to do. So you can legitimately play a free, not exactly watered down, but more of a lessened version of Shin Megami Tensei on your phone and still have a good Shin Megami Tensei experience. Number 9. I have a rule with my lists. I don't have remakes, reports like Skyrim going on to the Switch. I don't do those normally. Today we have an exception. Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu. Yes. Okay, yes. If you were watching these lists in order, and assuming I've done the previous years by the time you see this, I do have quite a few Pokemon games on my list, but that's because I'm a monster trainer. I love monster training games, and I love it when they're done well. Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee and Pikachu, yes, it is a remake of Red and Blue. That's why you won't see Pokemon Fire Red or Soul Gold or Heart Gold, Soul Silver, even though I love the crap out of those games. You will not see those on the list because they are just remakes. This, however, is not a remake in the sense that's usually defined as remake. This is actually the game remade. So, you don't like HMs. They're gone. Now, Pikachu does most of the stuff. You like the Pokemon following you in Gold and Silver, or Heart Gold and Soul Silver? It's back. You hate the random encounters in which that you could just avoid the attacks and just go through the zone. They're popping up on the world screen now. You can see the Pokemon and avoid them. I mean, there's still the grass, but you won't get attacked in the grass unless the Pokemon's there. They just spawn from the grass now. In the caves, they were walking around in the cave. You can walk around them. You want to have a better shining hunting experience without waiting for the end of the game to do so. If you catch, like, I think it was like 31 Pokemon in a row, like 31, like, let's say, Rattatas, you have a better chance of a shiny popping up. Good news. You'll see it being shiny on the world map. You like the gym system in Red and Blue, and you wish that they didn't take that away in Sun and Moon. Guess what? They still have the gyms. You don't like grinding, you'd rather just have like a simple way, like an example, catching the Pokemon, the wild Pokemon to get experience. It's Pokemon Go on the Switch. So you throw your Pokeball at the Pokemon and it'll catch it. And it works just like in Pokemon Go. So they took a well-made game and polished it further to make an experience that is completely new. And these two games are a good game. And your starting Pokemon, Pikachu and or Eevee, they're on your shoulders throughout the whole game. And that is awesome. And they even have interactions that you can do with them. And it's just, I think they took what was Pokemon and made it better. And I hope they continue this with Gen 8. I kind of like the grinding on the wild Pokemon. Just catching a bunch of random ones. You've got a inventory situation on your hands while you do that, so have it so you can do both. Why not? If you don't want to fight, catch them. You'll gain the same amount of experience, and you can still keep the shiny chain that way. But if you just want to just beat the crap out of them to get the experience, then just beat the crap out of them. You'll still gain the experience, but possibly not get the shiny chain. I don't know. But it's a really good game, and it's what I feel Pokemon needs to move towards. And if Gen 8 goes back to like how Pokemon is just on the Switch, I don't think it's going to be that good of a game, to be honest. Number 8. So, you have a game that's pretty good. It's very popular to play on YouTube, and it has a lot of replayability because of the content in it. Then you make a sequel. And how to make sequels? Well, you take what's good in your first game. You keep that. You build onto it. You listen to critiques. Like, probably remove, like, a mechanic that's not working. Add some more things you can do. Have basically the same game experience, but add more to the plot and more to the gameplay. And you get 60 parsecs. Yeah. I kind of wanted 60 seconds, but it was more of a meh. Because it seems like a game that I would play for a bit, get frustrated with it, and then forget I own it. With 60 parsecs, though, it seems to actually have an end goal besides just surviving and waiting to be rescued that you can work towards. And maybe multiple. I don't know. I would have to actually be able to purchase it and play it to find out. And that's how you make a successful game. I mean, in 60 seconds you had food and water. 60 parsecs, they removed the water aspect. So you just now have to ration the food. It makes the game a little bit more manageable. Now you have a crafting system. Each day you can craft one thing if you have the materials for it. And so if like you don't have, like, let's say a repair tool, you can craft a repair tool. Your gas mask breaks, and you absolutely need that to survive the next 5 days. Build a new gas mask. And now you can actually interact with your fellow crew members.
Baby looks upset, Captain. He says when he feels sad, he does exercise, but that's not easy in this shuttle. Whether he was in the prison gym or occasionally attending football practice, exercise was always an escape for him. He says one of the few things his parents would let him do was visit the gym. Suddenly he looks at you sharply and begins hopping up and down. He asks if he can press you, like a barbell. Probably one of the stranger requests you'll receive on this trip, sir. Oh my God. Baby wants to press. Good. Good, he wheezed as you elevated and descended repeatedly, and then elevated and descended again, repeatedly, with him wheezing. Good. Good! Over and over again, you were repeatedly ascended, descended, elevated, de-elevated. Good! Good! He wheezed through his teeth as he turned you into a barbell. Ooh! Anyway.
And they also have their own stats that you can actually view instead of guessing. And 60 parsecs is so much better and more interactive than 60 seconds. I don't plan on having 60 seconds on my top 10 of that year because there's other games of that year that's much better. So, 60 parsecs went from not on the list to being number 8. So, it's a game I am looking forward to playing. Number 7, Octopath Traveler. Oh, nostalgia. The nostalgia is hitting me so hard with this game. So, this game might have a bit of bias in it. Just to let you know. I'll tuck that in, I'm sorry. I hate when the bias shows while I'm doing a cam. With growing up, I've watched video games develop. I've seen the Nintendo Entertainment System with like the little blocky pixels go into the Super Nintendo where the sprites are a bit smoother. And the more games that were released for the Super Nintendo, the more beautiful the artwork looked. Like Final Fantasy IV, it looked great. Final Fantasy VI, it was amazing. I actually felt that the next step that video game graphics would go was to like anime, like the beautiful, like actually looks like Van Gogh painted the game, pretty much. But then, like the PlayStation, the N64 and whatnot, went to 3D models. Now at that time, 3D models were kind of subpar. You're going to hear me say this a lot, but in Final Fantasy VII, they used polygons and they just stuck them on each other. And so it's like, there's a scene where there's like this big guy, so they just took like a sphere, boom, there's his body because he's fat. But he had to like lean down onto the table, so they had to split in half, so you actually saw half of a sphere sliding up, almost like someone came by and sliced his back in half. So, I did not like how graphics were going at that time. Octopath Traveler brought back the 16-bit. Or was it 32-bit? I'm not sure. I didn't count the bits when I was a kid. But the artwork is so amazing. And they brought back like the RPG back to what's known as JRP. I don't agree with the naming, but I also don't agree with Massive Multi Online. So, but Octopath Traveler brought the RPG genre back. Not like the full genre, but they brought the RPG back to Super Nintendo, and they're just releasing such a beautiful game. Looks like the gameplay is awesome, and there's 8 different paths you can play that all lead into each other. I love those kind of gameplays. It's on my list at number 7 because I'm excited to play it. And I really want to play it. So, I know that it's just like a lot of these games I have not played and I'm just excited to play it, but that's what makes a good game. A game that you're excited to play. I have games on my bad list that I wanted to play, but turns out they're crap and I'm no longer excited to play it. So, take it as you would. Number 6. Detroit Become Human. Yet, I know, yet another game I have not played. I want to play it. So, I have a little story. Instead of like showing another person's video. Doing research on games this year. I was looking up quite a bit of them, and I was like, this has some really good reviews. I want to buy it to see. Crap, it's 60 bucks. I don't know, 60 bucks below on a game that's possibly mediocre or not good. I'll watch Jacksepticeye play it. 10 minutes into his first video, I want to buy the game. That's how good Detroit Become Human came off as. And again, if I'm judging these games also based on how much I want to play them, how much they look awesome, how much the plot is going to bring me in, and I've read almost nothing but positive stuff about this game. So based on other people's interaction with the game, I think it deserves a number 6 on the list. Number 5. I can't wait for this game. I can't wait for this game. I played the demo, and the game is Mega Man 11. Yes, my biggest problems with 8 or 9 and 10, the reason why they're not on my top 10 list, is because they brought it back to the original graphics. We don't need the original graphics. We need the original gameplay with something added, with really good looking graphics and smooth graphics, and just a really good gameplay. By the way, I think it would be cool if they made a Mega Man randomizer. Like, the stages would be random. From what I can tell from the demo, which is what demos are supposed to do, Mega Man 11 looks like it's going to be a great game. I want it. I want it now. I want it yesterday. I want it when it came out. I need this game in my life. I am a huge Mega Man fan, and this game is what Mega Man fans have been wanting. Not Mighty Number 9. Fans did not want that. They wanted this. And they delivered. And it's great. And I hope they continue. Number 4. Super Mario Party! Woohoo! I love the Mario Party. But the more they made it, the more dumbed down, watered it was, and more of a rehash. And they started removing things I liked about the game. And I was just getting so frustrated with this franchise and got to the point where I wish they'd stop. Even though making the games did not harm me in any way, shape, or form. However, redoing the game as Super Mario Party, they brought back to each person moves their own character. Never get rid of that. That is what makes the game the game. But they've also added so much to the game, like you got partners that will aid or hinder your dice roll. They got other stuff you can mess around with other players. They got completely new boards that do amazing things. And the mini games look like they're actually playable now. When they did it on the Wii, they did stuff that was subpar, trying to get like the controller things in there. The Wii U didn't really look good. But this game, again, gets me excited to play it. And I also can't stop watching YouTubers play it. And even though I watch them play it, I still want to buy it. That is what makes a really good game. And I know people probably getting tired of me talking about, like, I haven't played this game. I'm watching other YouTubers. But we're in 2018, folks. Before, like, knowing the games and knowing if they're good, you would read a magazine about it. I mean, you still got the magazines, yes, but nowadays you got YouTubers that, despite Nintendo apparently, ironically, you can now watch YouTubers like Markiplier, Pro Jared, the Game Grumps, and you'll see games that came out like Mario Party, and you'll see them play it. God damn my sinuses. And you see their enjoyment of the game, and you're like, I want this game. This game looks legitimately good. I want it. And that's how you make a good game. If you got a good game like, say, Firewatch, and you watch a YouTuber play it, they play the whole thing. You sit there, it's like, that was pretty decent. That was pretty well done. I don't need to buy it now. I watched the story, but that was pretty decently done. You didn't make a good game. Number 3. So this came out of nowhere. So Graveyard Keeper. I can't stop playing that game. Oh, it is well done. Came out of left field. It's if you don't know, it's a game where you keep a graveyard. Simple. It's a Harvest Moon? Pretty much. But they have a dark plot to it though. And I'm loving it. And I just want to keep doing these missions, keep finding out all these deep and dark and intricate secrets and what all these people are doing and what drives them, and I just want to learn while I'm making a great graveyard and making it look nice and doing alchemy, cutting up corpses. This is getting really dark, but the game is well done. If you can't stomach dark things like, say, cutting people's meat off their bodies to make it easier to bury the corpse, then this isn't the game for you. But it is extremely well done. Number 2. Another game we waited for. We watched the demo and the beta, polishing the game, making it look nice, adding an in-depth plot, making it fun to survive. And of course, I'm talking about Subnautica. Yeah, this game finally got released. It's a full game, properly priced. I don't know the price at it currently, but I know it's not too overly expensive, like $80 or $90 or something like that, or being a $20 game for $5 content. Bugsy, Bugsy. Oh, damn. Oh. I'm trying to come over a cold, so I've been coughing a lot. I'm sorry, but this game is worth the buy, even though it is a survival game and the market is saturated with survival games. It's a survival game done well and uniquely. And beautifully made. I don't see many issues with the game, and it's on my list to buy. So, well done, developers. You took a game that took years to fully make, and you polished and delivered a game that everybody expected. That's why you're number 2. Number 1. Yes. Oh, talk about games that takes what works, takes out what doesn't work, listen to critiques, built onto the game, and having one of their selling points as to not have microtransactions in the game. Monster Hunter World. I'm going to admit something. I'm not that big of a fanboy of Monster Hunter. I started with Monster Hunter Tri on the Wii. Fucking enjoyed taking down these large, immense monsters, chopping off their tails. I know it's going to sound violent on impact, but and just taking down these monsters, harvesting stuff like their scales and their horns and whatnot, building armor, better armor out of said parts to take on bigger and stronger monsters, trying to figure out different weapon combinations and armor combinations to give fire resistance to take on these fire monsters, and the lightning weapons to do extra damage to those that are weak to lightning. And it's just, the game is so well done, so polished, so thought through, and is now in an open world. A well done open world. Chasing the monsters got so annoying in the past games. Well, you can track them down now. And the challenge is still there. It will still take a while to bring down a huge monster. And there is a co-op. A well done co-op. And it's not like a separate island. It's part of the game. And it's not focused on it either. You can still take down monsters on your own. It's just, if you really can't, you can have a friend help you. Or take it down for you, which other happens, it doesn't matter. But the main thing I really love about them releasing this game, they admitted microtransactions, like having a little loot box that gives you random items and random weapons, will destroy the game. And they are correct. And I know there's items like that goddamn Rathalos plate that has a 2% drop chance, and it'll take you 50 kills to finally get the freaking plate for one armor piece, not including the second one or the weapons that require the plate as well. That's still in the game. But to be honest, that is what the game is. Hunting these monsters, trying to find these plates, looking up walkthroughs, being okay, it has a better chance dropping off this. They added that into the game too. And this is just pretty much everything that made Monster Hunter great, and everything that's making it better. And if they continue this route, their next game is going to be #1 on my list as well. Also, hunting big-ass dragons with a bow. You can't go wrong with that. So, that's my list. But I can't end my list without mentioning a few other games that are pretty good, and that's probably going to be on other people's lists, and for good reasons. So for the first time, I actually have honorable mentions. Life is Strange 2. That game, I haven't seen much of it because I don't want to be spoiled. But, so I can't put it anywhere on my list because unlike the other games I haven't played, I don't know anything of it. All I know is it's a prequel to Life is Strange, and if it's anything like what it was before, it's going to be a good game. Spider-Man, Marvel's Spider-Man, the new one that came out, that looks good, looks polished, finally bringing a Spider-Man game back to what it was without glitches and odd things. And if you're a Spider-Man fan but disappointed with the Spider-Man games, you might want to check this one out. You might be pleasantly surprised. Darkest Dungeon. It's a D&D based game. You go through dungeons, you're fighting monsters, finding loot. It is a well-polished, beautiful-looking D&D game, and I highly suggest it if you're into the role-playing. My biggest problem, though, it is kind of slow. There goes another fluff. It's kind of slow. It's kind of like... Oh, I can't find the words, but it's a good game. Not good enough to be on the top 11. And A Way Out. This game, I urge you not to watch the game, like people play this game on YouTube. Because it's one of those games that's heavily story-driven. But what makes it really awesome is that it's a co-op game. And it's like two people are controlling two characters at the exact same time. It does have quick time events, but well done quick time events. It's not like you're running and then like something's coming up and you have to press triangle to dodge it. Because it's actually like free moving. There's certain areas where you can move your character, you can interact with things, you can talk to people, you can interact with your partner. And then there's times where it has the quick time events where you can't really control a character too well, like you have to pass like a wrench to your partner without being caught. So it requires both of you cooperating, talking to each other, like, hey, here's the wrench. Okay, I got it. I unscrew it. Alright, here's the wrench back. Take a while before they look back. And it is a really well-made co-op game. However, since it's story-driven, if you watch it, like a full series, you're going to know the story. You're going to get spoiled. So if you're interested in playing this, just get it. It's worth getting. Just don't watch people play it. And so that's my list. Of course, people are going to have their different opinions because of their bias. They're being completely objective about it. People might not like Mega Man 11. People might like a certain game more than the other ones. People might want Fallout 76 on their top list. That's fine. In fact, converse about it. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like about some of the games I included, something I forgot, game that you like. Go for it. I also encourage people to make their own top 10 lists. And if you do, put in the link. I'll watch it. I'll even promote it. So just let me know what you think of this video. Click on whichever thumb you think is appropriate for this video. Until next time, stay white and nerdy.